Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vine Panther Presents. Today, we say goodbye to Interview with the Vampire as we talk about Season 2, Episode 8, and it was a masterpiece of acting and writing, and I am truly fortunate to have seen this episode, and I look forward to discussing it. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. You also like on the video, comment on the video, share the video. We'll get back to your comments as soon as possible. But anyway, enjoy the intro, and then we'll discuss this awesome ending to an awesome show. Oh, wait. I got to do it now. Wait. This is going to be funny. Wait. You ready? Wait. I got to do it.
This is awesome. This is amazing. I love it.
It was psychological. It was emotional.
Extremely entertaining.
But as always, as we try to say here, as we said, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. And as we talk about this video, please like on the video and comment on the video, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Yes, we've come to the end of the interview with the vampire known as Louis, apparently. And I guess we're gonna get into the story of Lestat in season 3, which got renewed this week. But again, let's see how this story ended and wrapped up for these main characters. Jamani, what did you think of the ending overall?
I like the we call it like the nuance of the changes from the movie and book and stuff like that. It gave me a lot more to be entertained by, because was it like the first 25 minutes or so they ran out of story. It was like, I was like, what are they gonna do with the rest of the time? And sure enough, they filled it.
They filled it. So to Jamani's point, I also hello. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. I too thought this entire episode was gonna be the movie. It was gonna be Louis just laying waste to the vampires in very graphic detail, and then he's gonna take on Santiago for like 2 or 3 minutes and just like demolish him and just tear him apart. And then no, that happened very quickly. And in fact, most of the murders happened off camera. And I was like, what? What? So I too was like, so what else? The movie did better. This is the only time I will say these words. The movie did it better. Like Brad Pitt just laying waste to those vampires was far more, satisfying. Especially considering how Claudia died in this version.
Well, Santiago, he didn't really have, his own like private personal death in the movie. So they gave him that time in this. So I thought that was better.
That was cool, but clearly the show was building up to that. I mean, most of the other vampires you could probably barely name, between Santiago, and maybe Sam. Like, I really didn't know the rest of them, and you really weren't supposed to. But that was what I was waiting for, a fight. Like I was waiting for an actual fight between those two, and then ultimately, I mean, Louis gonna win. But it was too quick for me. Considering how Claudia went out, I thought Louis was going to torture him in some type of creative way. And for him to just get his head cut off, again, this little bit disappointed. A little anticlimactic for his ending. But again, most of the deaths happens off camera. So yeah, let's get into this. I am confused. Who let Louis out of the coffin, Lestat or Armand? It was Armand. Let's acknowledge that all of this, that part story when Louis is in the crypt, right? That's all Armand's story. So we have to assume he's lying. We have to assume this whole I was subjugated by Santiago, and it was only when I distracted them that I was able to sneak some blood into Louis. That's probably bullshit. He was probably still in charge, and at some point he decided that he changed his mind. Basically, maybe he's like, I'd rather be with Louis than these coven people. And he took Louis out, stuck him in the sewers, and gave him some blood, and knew Louis was going to kill him. I would say.
I disagree.
Please.
Given what we know now, right? I guess the big
reveal,
right? He I guess I was so blinded by the book and the movie that I didn't like objectively look at it. But yeah, so Lestat is the one who saved him. So why would Armand deviate from
The plan.
the plan that has worked previous? I used Lestat to get rid of the Covenant before. I shall use Lestat to get rid of the Covenant again, right? But Lestat saves Louis. Therefore, okay, I'll get Louis to do it because now he has all of the rage and anger for doing it.
Again, I think it's. I hear you. Again, yes, Lestat is the one that saved him from being death to banishment. We saw that. I actually thought that was going to be a thing. I didn't say it on camera. What I said on camera was I was disappointed, and then we got sidetracked. I rewatched our review just to see if I put it on record, and I didn't put it on record. As we were discussing it, I said I was disappointed, and I didn't get to finish my thought. But anyway, yes, he saved. No, the crypt that was Armand. That was Armand, and so I do believe that, like, because only his blood was. I think his blood was only strong enough to get Louis back up and running. We both agree that at some level he used Louis to get rid of the Coven. We just don't know why. Like, we don't know what really happened. That he said again at some point he said, "I want Louis." At some point, and he let him out, and he let him stay out, but he still made up most of that story. And I mean, clearly. So that's what I'm saying. We just don't know how he got there and why he got there. And I guess we'll never know. To me. But I don't know. That's what I thought. But I still think Armand is the one that did it. One, he's the only one that knew where he was. Like Lestat.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I disagree about Armand letting him out of the crypt. I'm just saying the reason for why it was done.
We have to surmise. Like I think he loved Louis at some point. He went through a lot of shit to stay with Louis. So I mean, at some point he figured that out. Something happened. We'll never know. Something happened in the Coven's whatever that he's like, I'd rather be with Louis than not. And I don't know. I do like how the rocks came into play. Because we discussed that in the video, and we discussed that in the comments, the gravel versus the stoning, like in the movie and the book, and how his body grafted around it, and he still has it like in him. I like that detail. And then someone said in the comments, maybe that's why he has the gravel that he puts his feet in, because it kind of reminds him of that. Like he's always still stuck in that kind of trap for some reason. And but I love the idea. It was sad, but I love the idea that he was just sitting there going crazy for months and just thinking of all this shit. And maybe Armand was reading his thoughts this whole time. And somewhere he was like, I need to get rid of this Coven. They're getting on my nerves. And Louis already has a plan to kill them. I just got to let him out. And then he'll take care of it, from there. Perhaps. But we don't know. We don't know. And like you said when we reviewed Usual Suspects, most of this is a lie. Like most of this is told from a liar's point of view, and we'll never know the truth of things. And we just kind of have to accept that. Because in the end, we still know the end results. Vampire dead, Louis and Armand living their best life, and then Lestat shows up. And that kind of stuff. So I was like, but I don't know. Either one of them could have done it, but Lestat dropping that line about having Arcus blood in him would be powerful enough to wake Louis immediately. I don't know what that is. I guess he's a powerful vampire. I still think it was Armand, because I think if Lestat would have tried and Armand did not want him saved, Armand easily could have killed Lestat. I mean, we've already established in this series Armand is the most powerful vampire. He just chooses not to use his power. Which makes me, going back to the idea that Lestat is the one that controlled everybody's mind, which is consistent, and that makes sense. Armand had to be on board. At some point, he was like, I'll let Lestat do it. I'll let Lestat do it, because Armand easily could have overpowered him easily, and he let him do it. So just like he let Louis beat him in this episode. So I'm like, Louis, this man will fuck you up if he wants to, but like he let him beat him. I feel.
I'm not touching that after our last season review.
Oh, no. Okay, y'all. Let's have this conversation one more time. All right. So we got vampire on vampire violence. Okay, was this a domestic dispute or was this two vampires just fighting it out? It's interesting though. It's interesting though. Looking at Lestat's version of that fight, you had Louis being the aggressor. You had Louis being like, "I'm about to whoop your ass," and Lestat was like, "You don't want this." You know what I'm saying? And what do we see here? Louis again is stepping to a much more powerful vampire. Like, I'm about to whoop your ass. And in both cases, they almost, especially in Armand's case, he let that happen. We've already established he don't have to touch Louis to beat him. And he was like, okay. Like he
and I'm like, he's placing all of those threats. And I'm like, is that something you really want to do?
Oh, which one? Which part?
No, he's like, you won't touch Daniel.
Yo,
if you do that, I will kill you. And I was like, when Daniel gave the big reveal, I was like, the look on Armand's face, I was like, you're just about to become a puff of smoke.
That's what I said. I was like, if this was, dare I say, real life, Armand would have read Daniel's mind first and foremost and been like, you're talking to the Talamasca, you got more information than you need to have, and you're about to have an accident, and that fucker would have been dead. But to your point, when that reveal came out, I thought Armand was gonna be like, bah! But you already know how the books go, so he can't. I was like, you are dead, sir. And then we're gonna be like, I don't know what happened, Louis. I lost my temper. Anywho, let's move on.
And I'm like, Louis, ignites the computer, but yet the book still comes out. I'm like,
see, now so even with that, dude, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Did he just memorize that shit? And then like he wrote all of it, and then he said they had to take some stuff out. What got taken out? What is his version of Interview with the Vampire? Like, and why are the vampires not going after Daniel? I mean, he is a vampire. He is telling the vampire story. I know you're mad at Louis, but go after the one on TV pitching the book. Like, once you take him out, there's no one to pitch the book.
And I'm like he's saying on TV, it's not fiction, it's a memoir.
Like, I'm a vampire. Also, if he's trying to prove vampires exist, he can just take off his glasses and be like, I'm about to eat you in front of all these people, and I will show you that vampires are real, sir. So I'm not even sure why he's playing this I can't prove it game. I don't know. I knew the rat catcher couldn't hold. Yeah, that was stupid. That was ridiculous that they wanted us to believe that anyone could hold Armand back if he truly wanted to go somewhere. Like, that was crazy. But also, I want to give credit to someone in the comments who did point out the fact that in Louis' story, Sam was in two places at the same time. And we're like, that doesn't make any sense. I didn't even notice that. So when did he become an undercover agent for the Talamasca? Like, how did he flip? And when did he flip? I took a picture of it. It was like 1940. I think it was 1949. The thing said, hold up. I'll take a picture because I was like, there it is. Yes, April 1949, location Paris office, agent source, vampire Sam, whatever. So I was like, I guess after the massacre, he was like, I gotta do something else with my life. And he ran to the Talamasca, which is how they knew about Louis and Armand all these years. Like, I've been asking myself, how are they tracking these vampires? These two, because Sam snitched like years ago, and they've been tracking them ever since. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. No, don't give Armand any credit. he's awful. He's a person. He's complicated. Like he's an asshole, but he's still in the end somewhere. He did care for Louis, but he truly did not give a fuck about Claudia or Madeline, and he made that clear in many statements. So it just makes sense. It just makes sense that he helped put all this thing together. And I thought, yeah, he's not the most powerful now. Lestat saying he has the Arcus blood in him means that he's already met Armand's maker. Okay, so when did that happen? Then the third season bio announcements. Oh, all right. So they highlighted all those names. Hold up. They highlighted all those names. So we are in for a treat next season. Yeah, I loved Louis' defiant statement. Like when he spoke to the vampire community, it was like, "Come and get it if you want it." Like, and I didn't even see it the first time. When I watched it again and I saw Claudia's dress was hanging behind him, I was like, "That is awesome. That is awesome." Like he's like, "I'm channeling the spirit of my sister who would be like, fuck you. Like, come get this if you want to." And I was like, I love that. I love that he has a picture of his brother on one corner. He has like Claudia behind him. And I was like, what do you want to do? That was a perfect ending. If this was a movie or just a series, this was ending, I would be like, this was a great story. Like, I don't see a season 3.
Yeah, I think they should just call it a different show.
They do. They need to. You're absolutely right. This cannot be Interview with the Vampire season 3. They need to come up with a new name because they finished that story. They finished that story, and so they need to do something different. To say they're continuing it.
But other than the big reveal, right, of what actually happened, my favorite part of the episode was the tour.
The tour?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When we went to New Orleans. That's
yeah.
It was hilarious. It's also interesting how his name, like the two black people's names, didn't make history. Like it was Lestat, like not Louis, who's from New Orleans. It's like I was like, it's the hustler and his voodoo wife. I was like, what?
No, it's his child bride.
Oh, my fault. His voodoo child bride. I thought he was gonna kill that dude. To be honest, I was like, you better put some respect on my daughter's name. I thought that was good. That was interesting. I love the hat. I love the driver. I love the whole thing about the driver. Like that was not necessary, but it made the scene so much better. He's like, my wife and I went to go see a New Edition. She loves Ralph. I was like, hilarious. Like, does Louis even know any of these people? I was like, he was driving. It was beautiful.
I thought it was gonna tie something into like Lestat being a rock star or something like that.
So I started listening to the Book of Lestat, which again, basically 1984, when like MTV was, I'm sure when the book was written, that was modern day, but like they can't do that today. Like MTV's not even a thing. So I think he's gonna be more like a classical musician because that's the only thing that prepped you for a season 3, that he's preparing to go on tour as a classic pianist, I guess. But not a rock star. Like he's not gonna be a rock star. Like that's I'm sure they're gonna deviate from that part, but he's already prepping for that. So that's how you kind of get into that season 3 mentality. Armand turned Daniel. That's in the book. But for some reason they didn't show that, and they should have. But that's why Louis said, I'm sorry he burdened you out of spite. He turned him knowing that he didn't want to be a vampire. And to get back at Louis to an extent. But they should have showed all that. They really should have showed that. That should not be something you just have to figure out. To me, also he should have just killed him. In real life, he would have killed him. I don't, this whole I'm gonna make you a vampire so you live forever is some silly shit. So I think he would have killed him, to me. But anyway. It was Armand. Louis apologizes to him for the fact that he left him alone with him, and Armand did it out of spite. So I love apologies. Louis' arc was perfect. The fact that the last time he sees Lestat, he's able to say, it's my fault. He's able to acknowledge, like, I was an asshole. You know what I'm saying? I did not appreciate your gift you gave me. My life was miserable. I made your life miserable. I'm the reason the only reason what happened to Claudia is all me. And I loved it that he was like, I saved her from being burned. Just for a half century later, she ends up being burned. And he owns it. He owns it. And I really love that for him, that he finally was able to accept he wasn't a victim. He wasn't a fucking victim. Like it's his fault. Like all of this is his fault. What happened to him, what happened to Claudia, all his fault. And he was able to accept that. And I thought that was cool. And their family moment, like two fathers acknowledging that they had to watch their daughter die, and they both couldn't get over it. That even Lestat couldn't get over it, and they were able to help each other through that trauma. You know, like to an extent, I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a much better scene than the again. I only watched the movie. To your point, Jamari, like me too. Like the version they did with Brad Pitt coming into the house and seeing Lestat again. Why is Lestat all disheveled? Why is he eating off rats? Like, why is he broke? Like at this point, that's my question. I don't understand that.
I don't know.
All right, so anybody in the comments, let me know why Lestat is broke. Because in the movie, we understand that he's basically trying to get himself back together again. Like he's been living off rats for decades, but he's still not the Lestat that he was, right? But this Lestat is back to full power, if you will. And but now he's worse. He's worse than he was like in the 40s. And I'm like, why is he living like this? Like, why did he not move back into their old house? Like, I don't get that. Like, why are you just living down the street?
I guess this is stuff that, they've already plotted out, and we will find out in season 3.
Perhaps. I did not know Lestat new fledgling looked like a little punk. Well, they had to modernize it. I thought that was interesting. With that, Terry loved the idea that he was listening to Siri. That when you think he's playing the piano and he's just like he's keying, he's relearning the keys because somehow he forgot how to play the piano, and it was all Siri, and he was like, and I was like, that's awesome because it shows that he's modernizing with the time. He's able to because one of the things in the movie, the reason why Louis was so coveted was because he was modern, and the Lestat and Armand at the time needed someone to help them understand the new generation. But Lestat is able to change. He's able to grow, and so did Armand. They were able to grow with every new turn of time, with technology and all that kind of stuff. So even though he's living like shit, he still had Siri. So I was like, I thought that was
he had his little fledgling that he set on fire to get out of here, and set him up.
That was standard. I mean, because I remember when he did that to old girl when Louis swam to see him. He was like, "Get out." I was like, So why did they break up again? Like if they go through all this, if Louis crossed the ocean, to find our Lestat, why are they not together? Like we should have had that conversation. Like to be like, what did they say? To be like, I can't though. I forgive you, you forgive me, but we can't do this again. Like it too much has happened, or something.
I don't know. It's just, I guess he just did it for closure and was like, I'm not looking for anything other than that.
Maybe this version of Louis, like you said, I'm my own companion. I need to be on my own for a while. I need to know what it means to take care of me, like emotionally. Like financially, I guess Armand left him everything, but like just like Lestat did. But like I guess Louis like, I need to be with me for a couple of centuries, or some decades, so I know what that means. Who am I outside of the men that I'm with? Who am I outside of my companions? And so maybe he just needs to figure out himself before he can commit to someone. I don't know. I thought this isn't in the books, but we guess that this happened. That he is depressed. He takes a lot of dirt naps. It's not uncommon for him to fall into the pits of despair over things that happen now reconciling. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. It was just interesting. With Louis, he can move on. I guess. It was just a great moment. That I guess the storm is supposed to indicate that no matter what, they can hold each other. I guess they can weather the storm together. I guess. It was a moment. I thought the whole house was gonna collapse with them in it. For some reason. Like I thought for somehow it happened during Katrina, and like it was all gonna get wrecked, but somehow they're still together. I don't know why. I thought they were trying to make it historical. With that, what's up?
I'm just like, how are they gonna find a place for Louis in season 3?
That's my problem too. Like I don't know how they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. But I don't know if it's gonna make sense, Like I don't want Lestat's story to be him retelling New Orleans just from his point of view. I don't know. Like we need current day. We need current day Lestat, living his life, too toxic to stay together. But those are the best relationships. You never know what's gonna happen when you're in a bad relationship. That was Chris Rock for the record, but still a good joke, still relevant to the relationships issues. Look at Will and Jada, just for the record. But I like that. I think he had depression. Depression from what? Was it the death of Claudia? Was it the fact that the love of his life is with his ex-lover? And like what caused him to go into this spiral? He had to watch his daughter die. His love, so maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. I would love to have heard that. Like Louis didn't go, how did you get here? Like this ain't looking good. Although the Magnus origin story part, I thought that was kind of cool. I think that's teasing season 3. Him remembering, I guess, when Magnus asked him to ask for the gift, I guess. Louis saying he's gonna live proud. He's gonna live proud as a vampire. I think is important because that was a thing he struggled with from day one, and Claudia really kind of put that. Where's your vampire pride? Where are you happy to be? I say I am who I am, and I'm proud to be what I am. And I love that for him. That Louis came to that realization, and I think that was some kind of honor to Claudia's efforts to be a proud vampire. In that sense, I thought.
Yeah, I guess it's a good way to cap off Pride Month.
That's something like that. That being said, like did Daniel finally accept the fact that he's gay? Like, is he now that he's a vampire? He ain't worried about his kids no more. I guess. Like, is he gonna have a boyfriend? I mean, is that what we're gonna get?
I don't know. I think when you become a vampire, I think you just become bisexual or something. I don't.
It's just part of the process. It's just part of the. I mean, you're living for decades. You got to mix it up a little bit. But I mean, he did. I'm just saying. I mean, he clearly liked men at some point, and and maybe he really is gay. He just couldn't accept that. Maybe that's part of it. Louis is finally able to be his own man and truly find himself. He needs that before he can be with Lestat and someone else. I need to know if we would have heard that, like, I need to know who I am without you so I can be with you. So we know they're going to come back together again at some point. Would have been nice. I thought.
But don't you feel sorry for you? Because I'm like, I don't know how old he was in like 74 or whatever, but since 74, he's been under the spell. He's like, all right, you're going to be good at work, but fuck everything else, all right? So now he's a vampire, and now he has to live that type of life for the rest of his life. It's like his life really ended that night in San Francisco.
Well, I think becoming a vampire freed him from Louis' affirmation message. It wasn't a trap. It was like you have a purpose to be a reporter, and you're gonna be great at it. And I think he was just trying to hype him up and keep him up, despite all the stuff he was going through. But I think he's past that. Now that he's his own vampire. He just looked like a new person. I mean, with the sunglasses on and everything, he had the jacket. He just like a younger guy. My point is, he's going to be 60 plus for the rest of his life. Like, that's what sucks. Like, you shouldn't be a child vampire, and you should not be an elderly vampire. Like, both of those suck. Like, no pun intended. Like, you need to be a vampire like in your late 20s, early 30s. Like, that's the sweet spot. Like, after that, life kind of goes to shit. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want that. I got permanent hair loss because I'm over 40 now. Like, I don't want to be like this for the rest of my existence. Like, I want a full head of hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, make that should be a rule. Late 20s, early 30s, that's the window. Anything outside of that, no. Unless you have a sign.
I'm like, they can't experience drugs. That's what I was more or less saying about Daniel, because he was a drug addict, right?
Oh.
So he couldn't experience the drugs. So I'm like, if he's like 60 plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he hitting up like the nursing homes right after they take that blue pill, suck your blood, get that Viagra in you? Then I go and have my bisexual escapades because I'm over 60. So I'd have to get the Viagra however I can get it.
Jemani, I don't know about that. You bring up another good point. You know what I'm saying? Like, is your body permanently like Claudia? To use an example, Claudia was like, I will always be a pre puberty teenager forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm never gonna grow crotch hair. I'm never gonna grow breasts. To your point, if Daniel was having erectile dysfunction issues, is he forever gonna be stuck in that mode? That's an interesting thing. I mean, what it means to be a vampire. I don't know. That's also should be one of the rules. We got they're not together because Lestat still abused him and Claudia. Plus, he's already went through a 70-year relationship with Armand that was based on lies and manipulation. They both need closure. I hear you. I think they both acknowledge that they abused each other. Just like Lestat said, it's like, look, we can sit here and talk about you did this to me and I did this to you, but Louis got over that. Louis got over that, and I think even with Claudia, they were able to see they both made mistakes. Louis did it first, as he said. That's not on you. That's on me. Like, this is my fault. But yeah, I like the idea that they need to go find each other. They need to find themselves, especially Louis. He needs to understand who he is outside of a maker or a sugar daddy, and then he can do that, you know. And then maybe when he feels like they're both equal, that they can come together again. I think would be nice. So let's see. Lestat and Louis both love each other deeply, but they are too broken to be in a relationship together. But they're still family. It's beautiful concept. Maybe they get together for Thanksgiving, Christmas. I don't know. I love the fact that this Lestat remembered the exact day and time that he heard from Armand, and to be like, "Did you hurt yourself? Like, what happened?" And it was like, it was Claudia. It was Claudia. And he was like, "I'm sorry." And, you know, they kind of bonded over that. I thought that was cool. I don't think that Armand took Daniel by force. He just said, rest. To your point, I feel like considering Daniel blew up his life, I feel like Armand would have whooped his ass for a while. I feel like he's like, I'm going to make you a vampire, but before I make you a vampire, I'm going to whoop your ass for a little bit. Like,
we're gonna have part 2 of that night where you're sitting on thin air.
He's like, hey, I don't know if you remember this, but let's do this one more time. Like, tell me why my man found you so fascinating, and he just drops him like I should have read your mind. Bop. I should have not let you interview my man. Bop. I shouldn't have let you in my house. Bop. Just like, and then like at the edge of death, he's like, okay, let me make you a vampire. I can't believe he just did it all.
Well, yeah, you have to be at the edge of death. You have to be drained before he can, give you the gift.
He should have told the story or something and be like, it was a long road. Like, he kept me going for 3 or 4 days before he was like, here's the gift. Now have a nice day. I don't know. Let's see.
I'm like, hold up. That is the ultimate payback. Because I'm like, Louis says, if you kill him, okay, what's the opposite of that?
Like, he has to live forever. All broke. You know what? Again, Armand, he could have simply made him a vampire, then stuck him in a coffin full of pebbles and stuck him in the wall and be like, I didn't kill him. Like, nature will take his course. Like, there's so many options, with this situation. But Armand, again, as twisted as he is, he still needs someone to tell him what to do. Like, he liked the idea that he was submissive to Louis, but I'm like, he could have killed Louis. I
think it's a matter of, like, whenever you die, like we were saying about Claudia, he was a slave. So that's the mindset that he's stuck in. He hasn't been able to grow out of the slave mentality.
Okay. He's always going to be under someone. No matter, like, he can't leave the plantation. Like, he can't, like, he's always there. Like, even though he's on top, he's on the bottom. Like, he's more familiar with that. He's more comfortable with that than he is being in charge.
Yeah.
So true. I get. I'm interested that he didn't start a brothel for some reason. Armand basically injected misery in today's life. Now he's linked to Armand and would most likely want him. Um, perhaps. Perhaps. What we got? I believe in what we got. I believe in season 3 we'll start with his childhood trauma. Okay. Lestats. That leads to meeting Nikki. Into him running off with him to Paris. Then getting turned. Also, we meet his mom.
That's way too far back.
That's way too far back. And again, people like the Louis Lestat thing. Like Jamani said, we want to see Louis somehow involved in this. Daniel needs to be somehow involved in this. So, like, I don't think they can tell the story and these two characters not be involved somehow. I think.
Because they struggled with trying to keep Sam Reed
involved
out of this season.
Yeah.
Like he's seeing vision. Please don't have visions and stuff next season. Like, come on.
The stat is gonna have visions of Louis. It was already in the books. We knew that Armand turned Daniel at some point and wrote that as part of 40 years ago. So not that it wasn't new, but again, for those of us who did not read the book, if it wasn't for Chris, who happened to mention that in one of the videos, I wouldn't have known. So it's not good. There's people who are watching the show who did not read the books, who only probably maybe only watch the movies. I mean, that's probably very common. So it's just bad writing to say all watchers have to have read the books. That's not. I mean, you're telling a new story, so you need to make it more clear about what's happening and why.
And I'm like, they're switching stuff up. So I'm like, they're switching up so much stuff. They're like, we don't really, truly, honestly know that it was even Armand that turned him because they didn't actually say his name. They could switch something up and it was somebody else.
I mean, unless it's Lestat that did it. I mean, I think in the book, in the movie, it was Lestat that bit Daniel. I think that was the character that Christian Slater played was Daniel. And it was Lestat that bit him, and not Armand. So I mean, it wasn't Armand. It wasn't clearly Lestat in this version. But to your point, but when he said he did it out of spite, it was Armand. It was implied. But again, that's because we happen to know what the books say. But anyway. We gotta see how that's going. I feel like we're still going to get Louis in present day, but we need to get Magnus and Asuka. So I don't know who that vampire is. We do need to see both of them. But again, a lot of flashbacks is not good. Like we gotta push forward. Like we gotta see modern day stuff. I honestly want to see the relationship between Lestat and Armand. Relationship really how that really went down. I think we'll get Lestat's version as opposed to Armand's version, but again, the problem with the show is you don't know if you're getting the true facts. If it's an interview, right? Like people are always the hero in their own story, or the victim. They're rarely the villain in their own story. So it'll be interesting to see how they put those two together. But I think Armand will come back in flashbacks to an extent, and we see that. As we discussed in the last video, I am disappointed that it didn't happen. That Louis didn't kill the people in the crowd, at least some of them, or made an effort. I wish he would have said that. That kind of also. His madness as he's planning the assault, and and he's talking to the ghosts of the dead people that he just got done killing. I thought that was funny. I thought that was creative. I wished it was Claudia. It would have made more sense that his version of Claudia was there planning their revenge against the vampires. I would have. That would have been a great way to keep Claudia relevant, and it would have made more sense to me. It would have meant more than just random ass people that he happened to kill. And they're talking to him. And again, I love the dress. Where's his visions of Claudia? Why is he not haunted by Claudia? Like I would have loved to see that, that she's still there with him in spirit or something. Even when he walked out into the sun, if he would have saw her and that's what drove him. Like he was trying to catch her, and she was there in front of him, even in his mind. That would have been awesome. There was ways to keep Claudia relevant, and it would have made sense. For me.
What do you mean by like random people that have died?
Like when he was planning his attack, he was talking to the farmer or whatever that he just got done killing. Like that's the person he used as his image when he was planning his assault.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know that dude. I don't know that fucker's name. Like, I mean, like I know he's the dead guy sitting right here, but I don't care about him. Like there's like Claudia just got murdered, and she's the reason you're doing all this. So like, that would have been someone you would be, especially when she said, "I'm gonna kill all of you." It just would have made the scene more relevant to me. If Claudia would have been the image he was planning his revenge.
Oh yeah, if he can hallucinate all of the Lestats for the first half of the season, he could do that too.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, like, that would have made more sense. And it would have, again, if you truly care, she would always be there. She would always be there. Even, I mean, it's happened Star Wars per se, but like if she was there standing next to him when he's giving the "come get me" speech, that would have been awesome. The dress was awesome, but if she was there, it would have been like, that's awesome. He's like, I remember her. Like, what would she do in this situation? Anyway. Since this is probably the last time they actually get into that storyline, do you think Claudia reminds him of his brother? He loves them, but feels burdened by them. I think I don't think it's a burden. These are the two people who loved him and he lost. His mother turned his back on him. His sister turned her back on him. Like the only two people that stayed in his life but also died, and he feels responsible, is his brother and Claudia. And that's why in the end, those are the two people that he memorializes, is his brother and Claudia. And him coming to his own, like he's able to do that. You know, he didn't do that when he had Armand there. He didn't do that when he had Lestat around. Like now that he's his own person, he can do that. So these are people he wants to remember fondly, to me. But I don't think he sees them as a burden, to me. They need to get some female energy back into the show next season. Lestat's mom or some witches, and you know how people feel about that. The Queen of the Damned. Oh, that's her name. For some viewer attachment. In my experience, when you take a man-led show and put women in front of it, a lot of fans don't like that. But to you, I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do with this. I think the Ghost of Claudia is coming next season. They wouldn't have her say that if she wasn't true. Whoa. They wouldn't have her say that if it wasn't true. I mean, her coming back from the dead when she was like, "I'm gonna come back and kill all." If there's an afterlife, is that what you're referring to? They could have her just being defiant. I think that was just part of her persona, that she's going out on her feet. You know what I'm saying? But again, I would love to see the actress again. Even the new one, I like that she grew on me. Maybe Bailey would get herself together and accept less money. I'm sure it was a money issue. And maybe they can bring the original back. Louis' interpretation of Santiago's voice was very good. I like that. So I thought that was good. And to get him back, the way he read his mind was awesome. The whole thing about the small penis and large testicles was hilarious. And that he committed to it. He was like, "No, I just have extra large testicles." I was like, hilarious. I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure why we need this, but it was
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I don't know. Oh, so the bikes blowing up, like this was some like John Wick level shit. Like with the whole, I'm like, how did you come up with that plan? Like, what is happening? Like,
well, he said, I have contingencies for everything. Some of them will get away. How will they get away? And I will sabotage the motorcycle.
I mean, bombs now. I'm like, what? Like you learned all that laying in your own, like your own rubble for 2 months. Like you figured all that out in your head. Like,
and I'm like, it just now it makes so much sense that Armand is telling him to leave France because he's not the one who saved him, so he's not part of the this will end the covenant plan.
Okay. All right. So he gets him out and then tells him to leave, right?
Yeah, because he's like, whether he does it or doesn't do it, I still have Lestat. And Lestat has done this before.
Okay, well, he didn't kill them all, but I hear you. I hear you with that. So this is the other thing. All right. So we know that Armand is the one that directed this play, right? We know that as fact, right? We see that Lestat is there reading lines with Armand, right? That means that Lestat knew that this play was going to end with murder convictions. Like they planned it out, right? Yeah. So doesn't that logically mean that it wasn't surprise? Like he had time to warn Louis. He had time to warn Claudia. To be like, they're planning your death. Like this wasn't just a try. So I don't understand why like Lestat didn't make an effort to go find them and warn them. Is my problem with this, that because also if I felt like maybe Lestat was also a prisoner. Like
I think Lestat didn't necessarily know the ending.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Everything was scripted. Everything was scripted,
but the end is like you could not give him the the last page of the script and just
that Lestat is not gonna. That doesn't. No, like they were practicing the actual trial part. Like logic will have you asking the question, "How is this going to end?" Like that doesn't make sense. Like I think so. Anyway,
maybe he knew, and he knew that. All right, I'll save Louis in the end.
Then he should have tried. I'm just saying he should have tried to say I think they were keeping him Lestat captive. That's I wanted that more fleshed out because I feel that's what happened. They called him and said Louis is here, Claudia is here. He gets there, and then Armand is like, "You are going to be part of this court because you are on trial." He said, "If you put Claudia on trial, you put me on trial." And I think he was on trial. I think he was at some level. He was a captive because when he said, "How are you going to keep Claudia silent?" And they're like, "Well, we'll fog her mind." And he was defiant to be like, "You don't know how strong she is." So I think at some level, Armand was keeping him prisoner and making him be a part of this. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense, that Lestat was also a prisoner of sorts, that he didn't make an effort to get Claudia, at least Louis, but Louis and Claudia out of there before it all went down.
I think all of that will be explained next season, just as the first season was explained in this season.
That would, perhaps. I think Lestat is autistic and bipolar. He doesn't think things all the way through. I disagree. I think he's impulsive at times, and a bit eccentric. But I don't know. Armand said you can't script a hurricane, didn't he? I can't. No. He said that when like early, yes, he did. He did when he said when he joined the theater group, to your point. But he clearly showed that he was more powerful than Lestat. That when he puts his mind to it, Lestat will do what Armand tells him to do. So that was already established. So it's I don't know, it's interesting. It's just interesting that again he was a part of it, but he didn't want to be a part of it. The rock concert set is going to look like Burning Man Festival in the desert. So I mean, again, I don't know. He could go. They could go rock artist again. I just don't think that really resonates this time. Like, I actually thought they may make him like an Eminem character. I was actually thinking.
No. I'm thinking like EDM. Like he'll be like Marshmallow or something with like a something on his head or something.
Remember they said that about Sam, that he's a DJ that wears like helmets on his head or whatever. Remember they said that's what Sam was today when Daniel said, "Well, I thought Sam did Sam escape?" He was like, "Yeah, I heard he's a DJ." Santiago is sick, and I always felt like he had a thing for her low key, Claudia, perhaps. I think Daniel would have self-destructed without the affirmations from Louis back in the 70s. I think so, especially with all the shit that Armand put into his head. I think you're right, so they kind of saved each other. Like Daniel and Louis kind of saved each other. Santiago had feelings for Claudia. Him touching himself him touching himself to her ashes made sense to me. That's so I was like, I think he was just saying shit to upset Louis. I'm hoping he was just saying shit to upset Louis, but that was a bit much. I mean, I'm sure that wasn't in the book. That had me feeling all kinds of what the fuck is happening right now. I don't know.
But to be like, we used her for makeup. We used her like all of these different things. I was like, yeah,
that's a low down dirty shit. Like you had to know Louis was gonna fuck you up. Even after, that's my point. Even after talking all that shit, like I just felt like Louis would have spent time killing Santiago. Like if he had to trap him and take him somewhere and like feed him to the sun, like I would have watched that. Like give me 5 minutes of him just feeding Santiago to the sun over a few days. Like don't just cut his head off. It was just too easy. It was way too easy.
I think sometimes that's the only way to do it. Like you can't give somebody a chance to wiggle their way out or to you just have you're just dead. Like I'm not gonna waste time trying to keep you alive. You trying to get away. You trying to all of this type of stuff. Just you're dead.
The series is still the story in the Anne Rice. So we got be more specific. It's not the show's responsibility to throw in unnecessary topics or whatever. That's nothing to do with the story. The series is still the story in the Anne Rice books. What new storylines are you talking about? Like, help me out. You think that's what they did? Or are you saying that you hope that's what they don't do? I need to help me out. Help me out with that one. Santiago is like he likes to compensate for his inadequacies. That's why he's always trying to convert Madeline. I don't think he was trying to convert her. I think he was trying to ease her pain. Like he didn't like when the victims came, like the innocents, but they still had to eat them. He was trying to help her through the process because she was not on trial. Louis and Claudia were on trial, and Madeline happened to be there. And he was trying to help her through it. You know what I'm saying? And in the end, he gave her a way out. So I thought sometimes you gotta pop out and show him. You talk about his penis? I don't. You gotta give me some context to that. I agree. If Louis would have taken his time ending Santiago, he could have possibly ended Louis. So doing him quickly was smart. Again, if you cut off his arms, he ain't going nowhere. You cut off his legs, he's not going anywhere. Like I'm not talking about some like 007 shit where like you just tie him and walk away. Like you can keep him in a secure place. Like, hey, they locked him away in gravel for months. Like he knows it can be done. Like so anyway, that could be just me. But he did kill him. And now Santiago. He was a great actor though. Great actor, great character. I could have watched a season of him of just being diabolical as he was because it was just great. I'm sorry, because you have not read the books. You make assumptions that make no sense. Claudia is mentioned in other Anne Rice books. I didn't say Claudia wasn't mentioned in other Anne Rice books. So what are you talking about? Like we're actually saying we want more Claudia. So again, I don't know what the hell you're talking about with that one. But anyway, Louis wasn't about torture, just revenge. Let's not do that. Like he looked like he was planning out some wild shit. He had plenty of time to come up with plans to kill them. He was gonna slice them up and all kinds of stuff. They were just trying to get through it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not the story. The story is what happens after, right? They know we know the book or at least know the movie at the minimum. So they're like, let's get to something new. And they had a lot more story to tell. With the big reveals and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Again, it was a great ending to the story. And I'm interested to see how the future looks for these for these characters. So she's Queen of the Damned. So how they integrate all that into next season?
I'm wondering, is Interview with the Vampire?
What? You talking about the book that Daniel wrote?
The book that Daniel wrote, is that the Anne Rice book? Because he's saying I had to take stuff out, and that's all the stuff that has been added into the series.
Okay, this was the unedited version. You say like this was the actual story?
Yeah,
but the book
because I was like, it would be interesting if they put whatever the Daniel book is like out online for people to read. But I'm like, what if that is the actual Anne Rice book, but the stuff that was taken out is all the stuff that we got in the series that wasn't in the book and in the movie and stuff.
That's an interesting way to look at it. That's possible. That's possible. I get, as much as Daniel was hyping up his own book, I really wish someone would read it. just to be like, what is actually in it? I just I don't know. Have you read it? Yeah, season 3 renewal press release. They did mention a lot of other characters. There was going to be the Book of Lestat. I read that part. And they're going to try to bring in all the other characters and try to expand it. So I just I'm confused on why Armand freed Louis from the box. He could have left Louis there to starve to death. I think you're right. We don't know what made him change his mind. We don't know, but he did clearly change his mind. I don't think that he was under the thumb of Santiago. That just doesn't make sense. But so we don't know. We don't know why he changed his mind in the end and picked Louis to save him. And then would spend the rest of his life. I thought it was a bitch move for Louis to step to Lestat and thinking Lestat is the reason why Claudia was dead and Armand saved him, and be like, I'm gonna spend my rest of my life with him. I was like, this is some catty like reality show shit right here.
But I'm like, I think it's messed up that Armand stole Louis' plan and used it against him. Because Louis was telling Armand, oh, you got to lull Santiago into a false sense of security. Let him think he's in charge of the covenant and all this stuff. And you don't remember him telling him
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like when he was sitting up there taking it up the ass in the coffin and reading the play, that was his death play. Oh shit! That is hilarious. That's a good point, Jamani. He was like, "Get in the coffin, face down, and read me that play." He's like, "I'm writing your death, fucker." Like as he's getting it, that's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Armand is a conflicted guy. It makes it kind of weird. Again, we'll never actually know. Louis told told the punk MF vampires to bring it at the end. Oh yeah. He told me. He said, "Come on." He said, "I own the night." I was like, "That was a boss ass move." If we never saw
that should be the name of the next series. I own the night, because he said it like it's like a brand new title or something.
But then that would be Louis. That would still be Louis' story. But like him preparing for the great conversion, or him preparing for these vampires to come get. I would love to see that. Like if this was like a movie, like a standalone cinematic movie of Louis taking on these vampires, I would love that shit. Okay, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And then obviously Lestat would have to come to his to help him out, because he's gonna get overwhelmed. And then Lestat can come and help him fight these vampires. That would be boss. That would be boss. It was, again, it was well done. All the way around. I want to know Sam, like again, how Sam has helped the Talamasca keep track of all the vampires, or is it just Louis and Armand? Like, oh, I know I asked this question. How did they know
the Mecca of the vampires? Is he like the global worldwide king of snitchy?
I think he's been snitching for like over 50 years. Like for 70, he just been snitching. Also, but again though, I remember they Talamasca gave Daniel files, very detailed files about all the blood Sabbaths. And I asked myself, how did they know? How did they know all these people and when they got murdered? How did Sam gave them the history of all the people that they killed and when they killed them. It was all Sam. So I was like, oh, but so when they make the Talamasca show, I mean, Sam could be in that. Like, I mean, he could be part of that to an extent. I would think. Didn't that guy tell Daniel that Louis is the one he should be? Yes, he did say that. He did say that. You need to worry about the other guy. That's what he said. I didn't see that in this season, so I don't know why he said that, but he very much said that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Everybody really just suffered for nothing. Louis was punishing both Lestat and Armand. Yeah, again, as we said, Louis was kind of reason for all this crap. And they just put up with it for some reason. I don't know what he was bringing to the table, but all these vampires just put up with his shit for decades. And I do not get it. Anyway, anything else for the ending?
No, I think that everything was in the show. Like, there's nothing really left wanting. I just think that vampires have a hell of a long distance plan. I'm like, that telepathy got to save a lot of money. Like,
yo, he was like, hey, wait a minute. Wait, what's going on? Can I talk? Also, Louis should have found Bruce, or Lestat should have found Bruce and fucked him up. Like, even if they did it together, that would be kind of awesome. But I feel like Bruce should have got his at some point. Maybe he's in the books and he can't get his because he has to go on and be under the books. I didn't read the books. I'll give you that. But if it's consistent with storytelling and he's not really that important, Bruce should have got fucked up. Even if he didn't get killed, they should have found him on behalf of Claudia, and hurt him really, really, really bad. Maybe raped him. I don't know. It's whatever. It's whatever, or find some other vampires to do it. Bruce will be ended. Okay. But yeah, I didn't like that. Will he be ended in revenge for Claudia? It's in the books, Queen of the Damned. Thank you. That'd be anyway. That's just something. Armand was in love with Louis. Was in love with Lestat, not Louis. So I was thinking that's maybe one of the reasons why Armand hated Claudia and Louis, but mostly Claudia. That Claudia plotted to kill his love, Lestat. Louis helped try to kill Lestat, but he still loved Louis. But he blamed Claudia ultimately. It was her plan. So maybe he and then also again, she shouldn't have been made as a child, and then then the whole. I think the last straw for Armand was when Louis made Madeline for Claudia, and he said, "Why am I rewarding like disobedience?" And I think once Louis said, "No, I'm doing it anyway," Armand was on board to be like, they got to go.
I think it's funny that they now you see both have done the same thing. Like, you were gonna die, but I saved you. You were gonna die. Now I saved you.
It's consistent. I don't know. I was yelling at the screen. Call him Papa Les. What? To make Lestat save her. So I'm trying to get with this one. Who's Papa? Oh, so you wanted Claudia? If I'm reading this correctly, you wanted Claudia to yell Papa to Lestat, so he would go, "I gotta save my baby." Is that what we're doing with this one? Am I understanding your statement correctly? That would have been interesting.
No, that would have ruined her character, like her defiant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went out like a G. They wanted you. They wanted you to know she went out like, I don't give fucks about no y'all. Like, take the finger, because that's all you're gonna get from me. Bruce is called Killer in the books. Oh, that's why she said, if I don't kill like a Bruce, how do I kill? She said, like the killer. Lestat rejected him, so he went along with Louis being petty. Oh, all right, okay. I think they both kind of did that. Louis is definitely being petty. I mean, he was, yeah, that was catty. That was catty move. When he was like, I'm gonna be with Armand for the rest of my life. Me, I was like, Louis, just playing the bitch. Anyway, all right, Armand, excuse Giovanni, any final words for this review?
No, like, comment, subscribe. 500 viewers per video.
Thank you, Giovanni. I appreciate your efforts and your enthusiasm. To be real. Until next time. Boop. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us through this series. This is one of the few reviews that actually grew in viewership as we did it. Maybe because we're positive about this show. Because we're pretty hard on other shows. Someone said it. This is far better than Power. Someone said that absolutely. This is actually good writing, good acting, special effects. This is quality over quantity. Like 8 episodes of a great show versus 16 episodes of a shitty show. Being The Shy, just for the record. I loved it. I look forward to season 3. We're here Lestat's story. What's going to happen? How much of the book are they going to use? How are they going to get to Queen of the Damned? How they're going to mix all that stuff up? We don't know. I'm just looking forward to it. We're also going to do Axel Foley's for some reason. Giovanni was supposed to do that, so we got Axel Foley coming. I said that. Yes, and you are correct. I love this show. Rare for good writing. You are also correct with some of the stuff that we reviewed. They took a good book that made a okay movie and made an outstanding TV show. And that's extremely rare. I'm truly impressed with that. And we got great stuff. So we got Family Business. Family Business is starting up this week. We're gonna review that. We're gonna say goodbye to Power. Supercell. I think we're gonna review it. I'm still struggling with this British black superhero show. I think we'll review it. My wife likes it. I got thoughts. So we might do that one next weekend. But anyway, Mayor of Kingstown, we're gonna do that when that season is over. So we got some stuff for you guys. Again, 500 views per video. I'm sure we'll get that with this. 250 subscribers, 2,500 subscribers by December 15th. It's just a great ride. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. So have a great week, and you'll see us at some point. I will say thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. I see people watching us in the chat.
I enjoy the view very much. I don't know what the fuck I was watching.
Rewatch this when we're done. Rewatch this. You'll see what we're talking about. You'll be like, oh shit,
hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
You want to go ahead?
Oh shit. Stacey, do your thing. Fuck that shit.
But anyway. Please like and share and comment on the video and all that kinds of stuff. As they say, we're just going to end this broadcast and say bye.